Hi guys, it's April and this is the beginning of my July garden. It's wet, it's cold, and I love it. This is the temperature that I thrive at, but I almost didn't think I was gonna get to do my tour today because that. But I'm gonna quickly try and give you a garden tour in between the rainstorms that we desperately needed, even though everything is super saturated, just so you can see what the garden looks like in July. I'm doing this one a little different because I normally don't show you the debris pile, the compost pile over here. But if you remember, or if you don't know, I planted corn on this hill to keep things from washing down this hill. We've had so many high wind storms recently that I've had to prop up the corn with one of my old pots that I'm not using right now. But overall, I think the corn is looking really, really good, and everything looks so green because of the rain this week that I really can't complain about how wet it is right now and how cold it is and the wind, because just look at how green everything is. I mean, except for that. But I will take you over there first because, you know, why not? As you can see, the peas are starting to die back. I could probably, they're now nice and wet. I'll let them dry out a little bit more. But I probably should have taken those in yesterday and let them dry out and made sure that they didn't get wet in this storm. But I'm saving those for seeds. I have harvested an eggplant, but we've got one more growing over here and then some on the other eggplant, which I will show you. Pepper looks good. This open space right here, I have started, or I'm attempting to start, some micro-dwarf tomatoes inside the house that I think I'm going to plant in this area because I have the space. And the versions of them that I have in pots aren't doing so well. So I'm like, well, maybe if I put them in a garden bed, they'll do better. However, around here, I need to trim it a little bit because we've got some really dead leaves, but these zucchini plants are insane right now. Kind of glad I put them in the back half because I think they would have just knocked down my umbrella trellis if I had had them on the other side. The tomato plants are filling in wonderfully, and you can see tomatoes absolutely everywhere. See, back there. There have been some casualties with the rain and wind where things have snapped off, but for the most part, I think all of the tomatoes are doing really well. The peppers, at some point, I think I might have to come out here and just take some of these jalapenos. We've got a little bit of sun scald on some of them, and maybe I'll take those out first and salvage what I can from those. But otherwise, I've got so many peppers, and the poblanos are, let's see if I can find a big one. The poblanos are getting huge. Look at that. And that, I've had to start pulling a lot of the stuff out of my freezers and processing them in one way or another so that I have room for this new stuff that's about to come in. But this pepper bed looks glorious. This is the spicy pepper. I did pull out the garlic the other day, and so I have started another ahi pepper that I'm hoping I can put in the spot right here. This is a butternut variety. I believe it's the honey nut or the butter baby. I don't remember which one. But the carrots in between are doing really, really good as well. Still haven't pulled any of those yet because I really want them to bulb up. But as you can see, the tomatoes are doing so good along with these beans down here. I've almost got a ripe one off of this one, but it turned out it had rotten from the inside, but I think I will still get some good fruits off of it. It's just the way our water has been. There and not there all at the same time. It's a mess. The onions, let's see if I can get in here to show you. Look how big. See if it will focus. I can't let go of the plant because then it'll just go back into place. But how big is that guy? I'm excited about those. We got some more onions back here that aren't nearly as big, but they should still be good. And then where I bunched them together, they're creating this like porcupine thing that I should just use them, pull them and use them as scallions or whatever. More tomatoes. Got some funky things going on with some of these, but as I've been seeing the blossom and rot, I've been pulling them off, but I still have a lot of fruit that could ripen and be delicious. The potatoes, I don't know what the potatoes are doing, because a week ago they looked like they were ready to be pulled in about a week or two. But now, and maybe it's because of all this weather, we've got this flush of very green growth that's coming back. So I might have to leave them in there a little bit longer. Maybe 2 or 3 weeks, I don't know. We'll see how they start looking next week. We are starting to get some ripened cherry tomatoes. I got a whole 5 of them off of this plant. Oh, looks like we got a snap. So this was the one that started blushing first. And I got 5. Still waiting to see who starts blushing next, but we've got all these little trellises of stuff that I can't wait to see start ripening. I'm excited about those, and of course we've got more of the onions. The Romas, at least on this side, are looking good. Like I said, I've been, as I see them, pulling off the blossom and rot. Then we have our sweet peppers. And I have some really big ones coming in that I'm excited about. It's just amazing how green everything looks. But here is one of the tragedies. I finally pulled out this tomato plant. This was the Korean long, one of those dwarfs that I'm attempting to grow a second round of. I'll probably put right there. I was told that somewhere back here we're starting to get sunflower heads. Not quite, but we're getting close. the possibility is there for this thing right here. I don't know what to make of it. Is it a sunflower? Is it a weed? Still, we wait. It could be either. It could be both. I don't know. It could be one of the ditch sunflowers. Need to cut that off. These guys look a bit of a mess right now just because of the rainfall. But these peppers are still holding on. And these butternuts are going crazy. This empty bed next to them is where I plan on putting the okra once they start to sprout, because that'll be my third round of okra. So I wanted to make sure that they for sure started before I put them out in the ground. So we'll see what happens there. But we got the calendula taking over right now. I ended up with 77 heads of garlic, I believe. And this is what I meant about the potted tomatoes. They're not doing the greatest. Ick. But the squash, however, this one right here is a yellow pumpkin. And then I believe that one is the candy roaster. The one I've started training up the trellis is a pink banana. We've got another, I think that's the butter baby honey nut. And this is a zucchini, which I have finally gotten the first fruit off of. It looks like we've got some that didn't quite take, and I should probably just cut off. Ground cherries, looking good. This is a volunteer plant. It's ginormous. The other potted tomato looks like poo. And not really excited about how my potted plants have done this year. I struggle with potted. I don't know why. I think it's just because they're so much more touchy, because the water has less of a chance to go somewhere, or they dry up super fast. These trellises, these cages. Okay, the tomatoes are doing good, but in one of our rain windstorms, all of them were on the ground, and I had to figure out how to not damage the plants, but still get them upright again, which was quite dramatic, to say the least, because it's pouring rain and I'm out here trying to salvage these plants. It really wasn't that long ago. It was the 4th of July. So I'm out here, wet as wet, trying to get all of these cages back upright, some of which are taller than I am, because I'm not that tall. And I'm trying not to damage the plant, and it's dark out. So we're in the middle of this thunderstorm. High winds that we didn't expect at all, and people were still letting off fireworks. So it felt like I was doing battle with tomato cages. It was great fun. But I am honestly glad to see that these are doing okay, and it does look like I have a ripe strawberry back there. I don't know the best way to get to that. Hold on. Okay. There she is. It could go a little longer, I think. Let it ripen a little bit more. Over here, we have this Roma plant that with all the rain, I think it's just been getting too much water because the drain pipe is, of course, right there. I do have a rain barrel attached to it. But with all of the rain we've had, it's full. So we do have water coming out of the actual spout because of it. Some of this is wind damage because wind is like bashed against the cage too much, it'll do damage, but other parts of this looks like it might be some kind of bacterial because of how damp it's been. But I'm hoping I'll still get at least this Roma. We'll see how long this plant actually lasts. I think for future me, I know not to put anything that is got a real intolerance for being super wet in this area. So I've had pumpkins thrive here in the past, and obviously this ground cherry loves it, but I don't think I'll put any tomatoes here anymore, unfortunately. Over here, these beds are looking like they're filling in. My chickpeas still aren't doing good. I'm kind of writing off this as a learning year for chickpeas. But these tomato plants are starting to climb everywhere, and I'm starting to get little fruit on all of them. It looks like I need to... This one kind of flopped. Hold on. Oh goodness. Need to get him woven back around. See how I can do this without making you guys extremely dizzy. There we go. Now he's a little bit more upright and not on top of the calendula. And I'll probably have to do the same one on him. The Brad's atomic. Now that I've pulled out all of the lettuce and moved some of the spinach out, it's going crazy. Celery, I don't know. Celery is there. It's attempting to be celery. But I need to remove the rest of the spinach right here. I might leave some of it for a ground cover for the tomato, but I don't know if it needs it anymore. Back there, my thyme in that bucket, I'm not going to go over there because it's just sad. The thyme is dying, the agastache is dying. I need to rethink that whole pot. I don't know. My other failure of this year. And then we've got this peach tree that looks fabulous. Still watching the peaches on that. Haven't gotten any. But these are the other eggplants that I was telling you about. So I'm keeping my eye on those for when they're ready to pick. And I just noticed, if you can see the little bit of red right back there. I'm not going for it, but that's a strawberry. Another strawberry I'm going to need to pick. And then we have a very sad looking tomato plant. And I don't know if he's just been getting too much water or what. But that blueberry plant is looking a little iron deficient or something. So I'll keep an eye on that. But otherwise, that was my quick in between the rain July garden tour. At least the beginning of July garden tour. I know that was probably a little quicker than I usually take with these garden tours, but I don't know when this rain is going to start back up again, and I don't want to be out in the middle of it when it does because it gets windy and it's been lightning out, and I don't want to take that chance. But if you do want to continue to follow me in watching how my garden grows, subscribe down below, hit the bell, do all the things to do all of the notifications. I like to do a weekly garden tour for my own record, just to see how things are changing. I find that from year to year, I forget when things really start to come in and when they really start to look like this green, luscious garden. So early on, I start to doubt myself on whether or not I'm actually going to be able to do it again this year. And then I go back and I look at last year. I'm like, oh yeah, it looked exactly like this last year. I just forgot. So that's why I like to do these garden tours. I also have an Instagram account where I update what I'm harvesting and what I'm doing with the harvest more frequently over there, because I like to take pictures of that kind of stuff to document it. So if you want to follow me over there as well, feel free to do that. I've also downloaded the Threads app and I've connected that to my Instagram stuff as well. So if you have Threads, it's the same account. It's The Gardener's Garden. There I'll most likely just be putting out my random thoughts about the garden as I'm harvesting and pulling things out. Like, I was having issues filming this garden tour, so I just did a quick update saying, hey, my tour is probably going to be a little bit late. So if you want to check me out over there, feel free to. Otherwise, I am going to go and I'm going to edit this video so that you guys can actually see it and I can get this tour up. I do hope I will see you again in another video, and I heart you beautiful faces. Bye.